Hi guys, I hope that you are all well and safe and healthy at home. Unfortunately, we can't be together during this time, um, but being home doesn't mean that we can't get any work done and that we shouldn't get any work done. Quite the opposite, you should be using this time to do as much work as you possibly can. But because we cannot be together, our school, and How, has made it possible for us to continue to give you quality education using this interactive platform. Um, but before we get started today, I just want to open up what is an important announcement or some important information that I want to give you. If you were in the lesson today, you would have received this information. But if you didn't, I want to repeat it here now for you. And that is for our normal lessons in class, I would be there to explain everything to you. But because we can't be together, all our weekly reading strategies, our grammar, our vocabulary, all the things that we should have done in class will be included on a YouTube video, and you can find it on the Alman Hall platform or on YouTube or on their channel. Um, on there, you will have but also, sorry, on Pearson, I will put up all your worksheets and all the presentations that you see us doing here, and everything that you need that requires, writing and answering questions. All of that will be put up on the Pearson Realize website. For many of them, you can just complete it on, you know, type it out if you so choose, but you can also download them, print them, write them out, and then load them after you have completed. The first worksheet is already there waiting for you. With that being said, let's get started on today's reading strategies. I'm going to look at the reading strategies and some vocabulary that goes with it, right? So we're going to do a little bit of that, a little bit of both today. Um, the reading strategies that I want to look at is archaic vocabulary and anecdotes. So what is that, right? A lot of times when you're studying English, or as you go further in your education and you study English, you will come across a lot of Shakespeare, a lot of Shakespearean language, or a lot of old English that we don't use anymore. And that's what archaic vocabulary is. It's vocabulary or words from the past that we don't use anymore, or that we use in a different way and has different meanings to the way that we use them today. And that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at some of that vocabulary a little bit later in this video. The second type of reading, if you remember, I said that I always say this, that we read for many different reasons. We read for studying, we read for comprehension or understanding, we read to increase our vocabulary, in other words, to gain more words in the English language. We read to to get more information, right? And we also read to learn important lessons in life. And that's what an anecdote is. An anecdote is a short story, a short, amusing, usually funny, but very interesting story that teaches you a lesson, right? So that is a different kind of reasoning behind that story. And when you read that story, you'll know that, okay, this is a story that's designed to teach me a lesson. But an anecdote is not only a story that you read. It could also be a story that someone has told you, or that a parent, for example, if they're trying to teach their children values, how to be good, how to behave the right way, they may want to teach you that using a short story or a nice story so that you can understand it and remember it. Um, Now, I want to get on with some of the vocabulary. And one of those words in archaic English or archaic vocabulary that you're going to come across a lot is the word art. Today, when we think of the word art, we think about pictures and paintings and drawings, pencil sketches. Modern art might even include some kinds of graffitis um, or even photography. But art, in archaic English or in Shakespearean time, meant art, right? So you would say "thou art," which is a common phrase that you will see a lot of, especially if you're doing Shakespeare, like Romeo and Juliet, or another play like Hamlet. They will say "thou art," which means you are a lot. I want us to look at two sentences here. Um, the first one says, "Fear not, Thomas, for thou art our brother," which means don't be afraid, Thomas, because you are our brother. Thou art means you are. The second one, "thou art obliged to pay duty and tribute to him." Um, Duty and tribute could be a type of currency, right? Excuse me. It could be a type of currency or a tax, right? So when they say "thou art obliged," that means you have no choice but to pay taxes or to pay these monies, right? Tribute and duty. Those were currencies, type of currencies or payments that people used to make in old times. Uh, Nowadays, we use these words differently. Duty means more like a responsibility, right? And then tribute means something that you sacrifice or you give over to someone to honor them, right? But in the old age, that was just a different kind of currency, a type of money, if you will. The other word that I want to look at is the word tres, right? Tres just means long hair that usually belongs to a woman. Now we don't use that phrase anymore or that word anymore. We just say hair, short hair, long hair, um, or if you're like me and you have no hair, right? Um, so yeah, it's very simple to understand. Tres just simply translates to hair, and it's a word that we don't really use anymore. But if you were to use it in a sentence, it would look something like this. Sentence A says, "Her golden tresses, her hairs, um, tumbled about her face." And the second one, women braided their hair into tresses. So a different kind of hair there, which they confined with a pin. Um, all we're talking about there is hair, very simple to understand. The last word is the word fair, right? Fair means something completely different today. If someone is fair, it means they treat everybody the same and everybody is equal, right? But here in archaic English, the word fair means beautiful or pretty, right? Um, but usually when we talk about a person, so you wouldn't say that the sunset was fair if you're talking about a beautiful sunset, or the flower was fair, right? So you wouldn't use the word fair to describe a thing, but you would use it to describe a person. Usually in Shakespeare, they would say Juliet was fair, and they would describe Juliet to be very beautiful and very young. Let's look at some example sentences. Monday's child is fair of face. That means the child has a beautiful face. Monday's child. Um, she was fair and loved to look in the mirror. So she was beautiful and she loved to look in the mirror. And then you can see somebody, a child that likes to look in the mirror, right? So these are just some examples of what archaic English are. Of course, there's many more of these, and as you continue to study English, you will meet more and more of these words. Um, and you will find that they all have different meanings, right? To what some of them they sound familiar, but once you get into them, you'll realize that they have such different meaning that it even feels like you're talking a different language, right? Um, this worksheet or this presentation will be put up onto Pearson's. So when it is up on Pearson's, I want you to work with a partner, or you can do this by yourself. I want you to find 2 more examples of archaic vocabulary, and I want you to create 2 complex sentences of your own with each word. So you'll find um, 2 sentences, I mean, you'll find 2 words, right? And from those 2 words, you will make 4 sentences, right? And I've got space here for you. So 2 sentences with each word. And that is it for today's video. I hope that you find these videos to be helpful. We will continue to load more videos as the situation continues, and I hope you all stay safe and healthy. Have a nice day.